YouTube, it's Maddie, the Empty Nest Scrapper. Welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you stopped by. If it's your first time, welcome. I hope you enjoy the content. And if you do, please consider leaving me a thumbs up to like, comment down below the video when it's through, and of course subscribe if you'd like to see more. If you're returning, as always, I really appreciate you coming back. So today I'm bringing you another in the series of Use What You Have, Stash Dive. This one is a little bit different, so I hope you enjoy it, because I am going to talk about some of the things that we have pre-prepared and carry along in our stash, somewhere in our room that we dig through and grab for when we're making projects. But this video is even more extensive of a stash dive, because it's talking about using what you have to actually even complete a card. So gonna show you what I dug through in my stash, and this one first. This is my silly little bag of backgrounds and pre-stamped card fronts. I don't know if you have something like this, but I bet you do. I'm going to give you a little peek as to what I have here. I'm not going to go through this whole entire thing, but I'm going to grab a couple things that are on top and give you a little bit of an idea of what kind of stash this is. Whoop. So here I have a stamped image that's already been put through my scan and cut. That's a little lady after her shower getting on the scale. Could be me looking down at that scale thinking she ain't too happy. So I'm gonna hold her to make a funny little card at one time. This one is just a background stamp that I did one day from a Simon Hurley stamp. I used a couple of colors, a little pink, a little yellow, a little bit of a watercolor type style. I do like it. I'll make something for it eventually. Not crazy about this, but we'll see if there's something I can do to make it something I like better. This one is a background I made with layered stencils. It's kind of cute, needs a little something something, but we'll see how that goes. This one is some blending of a few colors, and then I put it through an embossing folder. Then I did a little die cutting for the pretty edge. This one I'm not too crazy about. Maybe I can make something, maybe I can't. We'll see. We'll decide about that later. That's a good thing about having this, having a little stash. I am deciding to decide later, and that's okay. Here's some ink blending, maybe for a baby card. I think I'll probably put that through an embossing folder in addition. And this one was an embossing folder that I did some inking with. I think it's pretty cute. Same thing here, different folder. Yeah, this one I made after watching a demo by Natasha Foote. So it's just hand painted. It's a little, you know, kind of painting a kindergartner might be able to do. We'll see if we use that or not. So similar kind of thing, embossing folder with ink, multiple colors embossing folder. You get the gist. It's all a mishmash, and some pre-stamped images, some ink smooshing to be continued at a later date. Then you come across things like this, which is a pre-stamped image waited to be put through the scan and cut, and either colored or alcohol ink, whatever I choose to color that in. Here's little little ink smooshing blend again. Sort of on the hunt for making some baby cards, so I'm using some of those baby colors. This one, oh, is so old. It's ink blending and then a dimensional stencil paste in gray over top. Here's another of those series with the ink blending. I still have to punch out some of the trim, but this is a 3D embossing folder. This is a combination I really do like. It does make some really cute baby cards. And I'm just gonna skip through more of these because many of them are similar. Here again, you know, embossing folder, inked, and this one ink smushing. But here again we have some more stamped images, and that's what I am gonna get to today. Stamped images that I found, some of them colored, some of them not yet. This is something I'm going to color later on. This is something I'm going to color later on. And so that's a taste of my little tour. Here's another one of my favorite stamps that I will hopefully do something with at some point in time. And I'm going to put these away so we can move on. So that's what I dug through and picked out for the project I'm going to show you that I made, and the project I'm going to make with you. Hopefully that won't take much time. So following that, I have these pre-cut sentiment dies, and as you can see, I've got bunches of them. And maybe you do too. Maybe you have bunches of backgrounds. Maybe you have bunches of pre-stamped images like I just showed you. And if you only have one, then you can do the other and add some of these to your stash if you feel like creating one. If you don't want to create a stash, then you can certainly make your cards from scratch every single time. I'm not able to do that. Sometimes I need a little help. And in this video, I'm going to show you how I made a card taking no time at all, using my own stash that I had created at times that maybe I didn't have much mojo. And maybe that happens to you. So when I don't have much mojo, sometimes I will cut card bases. Sometimes I will die cut. Sometimes I will make backgrounds. Sometimes I will you know, just organize. So those are the things that I tend to do, which causes me to have a stash. So if you have a stash like me, or a stash of your own to work with, go dig it out and have a little fun. And I'll show you one of the things that happened to me. So this is a stamp that I got a while back by Steinman Hurley. I think it's a beautiful stamp set. This is a stamp that I in particular loved and couldn't wait to play with. My problem was that I had something like this in mind to be able to do. Flowers with the greenery, but I had a tremendous amount of difficulty with my old eyes seeing where to stamp the pink, where to stamp the green, and how to make it a little dimensional. Not really happy with this, and this is the best one after multiple tries. So when I was watching videos on YouTube, I saw somebody with a what I thought was a very, very lovely iteration using that stamp, and I copied it. I found this background, the black silhouette made from that stamp, and you know, I didn't have to try to figure out where the green, where the pink, where does anything go. And I thought someday I'll make a card like that. And I came across that, I don't know, card panel in my stash in that envelope I just showed. And I opened up that binder and found this Thinking of You sentiment. Bing, bang, boom. In, 5 minutes, I had a card. And I'm going to show you something similar that I found in my stash, and I'm going to make a card with that as well. So here's another one of my favorite stamps. I believe it's called Beautiful Flowers. Sorry about the glare. From Simon Says Stamp. I don't know if they still make it. It's a stamp that I fell in love with after seeing a demo by Jennifer McGuire. And I have many, many times colored in that image. But I came across that image in my envelope stash, and it was just stamped out in black and embossed, so I could color it in with any color I wanted. But after making that black and white card from the Simon Hurley like this, I thought, I think I'm going to take this panel, which also, as I mentioned, I believe was embossed, and see if I can put together a black and white card that I am happy with, because not everything needs to be colored. So that's something I thought, by the way, that black, again, would be a nice choice. So that's something I feel like I picked up a little bit from Kathy Zilski, I believe her name is. She is a super talented card maker, and she creates cards. Mostly she has so much talent that she just makes it look less complicated, but it sort of has a simpler feel than, let's say, Jennifer McGuire. But I came across this happy birthday die cut that I thought would work well. And just for a mention, I'll show it to you. Just for a mention, I picked up some black shiny cardstock to use to enhance my cards with die cuts, and it sort of gives the effect of heat embossing, similar to the heat embossing that is already in the stamp that I chose. Thought I saw a little something that needed to be removed, but maybe not. Maybe not. So I'm just going to see where I feel it would be good to place this. Oh, here it is. So this is just a pokey tool. I'm sure you have one. This pokey tool, I think, is lovely. It was made by Gloria Wolf, who I met in one of the chat rooms here on YouTube. So she will take any colors that you request and make it custom for you. So if you're interested in that, leave a comment and I'll see about hooking you up with Gloria. So anyway, I'm going to put that aside and see where I'd like to place my die cut first before I cut down, before I begin to adhere my image. So let's see, looking for a place that I am happy with. Not sure where that's gonna be. But I have in the past started to adhere my die cuts without doing this first, and that didn't really turn out well. So this is the plan I go with. And I think I just have to actually snip off a little piece there to make it fit properly, and then I will be able to move forward. So if you see on this die cut, there's a big swirly before the H, and I'm going to let that go, and I think it'll just work out fine without that little swirly. So let's go ahead and take care of that. My eyes are so bad that it takes me forever to do something like that without ruining the die cut. But just did it in 2 motions instead of 1 to make it easier on my eyes. So there we have it. A little bit less swirly, a little bit more space to work with, and that's just fine. Let me see how I feel about it like this. Yeah, I think that'll be just fine. Spin it around and see if you feel it will be just fine too. That's what I'm going with. I'm not going to pick it up because it will slide all over. I did find another piece that needs to be removed with my pokey tool. These little guys, I don't always see it the first time round. So next up, gonna pull out these. These are sticky specs. I haven't used these too often, and they were popular, I think probably last year or maybe even longer ago. And I got it maybe a year ago or so. But I think there's another sheet that's already been started, but that's okay. So these are little tiny specks of glue, and you place your die cut on that sheet with the glue, and I'm going to put them both in. There. Put them both in like that, and then you kind of rub it. I actually think might be a good idea for me to burnish it and make sure that we have enough sticky on the die cut. So my problem is when I use even glue with this precision tip, this one or the Bearly Arts, I still have a ton of difficulty not making a big old mess. So for something as teeny tiny as this, my feeling is best to try the sticky specs. So that was just my bone folder. I'm sure any bone folder will do, and you probably can get away with just using your hand. But in addition to having difficulty with my eyes, I have difficulty with my dexterity. So if that's you, try the sticky specs. They may work for you. So I'm loosely placing this down so that I can move it if need be. And I think I will move it if I still can without ruining. Yeah, gonna move it down a bit because I think I'm gonna put this right here and going to see if I can check how straight it is before I push it down. So this is just a T ruler, and just gonna check before it's pushed down that it is not super wonky. I know I'm not gonna get it straight, but relatively straight is pretty much as well as I can generally do. So let's see if we can get relatively straight. I don't know if you have the same kind of difficulty as I do, but these are my issues, and I deal with them as best I can. And hopefully you find little tricks to help you deal with your shortcomings also. Not everyone, I have to guess that not everyone can get these things done without difficulty all the time. So the T ruler helps sometimes. And sometimes I think it's better just to eyeball it and not have, not go crazy about the smaller details that probably your recipient is not going to notice. And if they do, they're likely not going to say anything about it either. So, not sure I'm happy with that. Take a look. So, it's not quite as nice as I had pictured it. Let me see if I can pick that up and try a different placement without, as I said, ruining the whole card. So happy came up fine. Birthday we're gonna see in a minute. Still seems okay. I might be able to remove this whole thing without ruining the project. Let's see. I don't know how much difficulty you have with these kinds of placements, or if you have difficulty making decisions. Decisions are my nemesis. I am so bad at making decisions. Sometimes I just go with the decision even though I'm really not happy with it, and just move on. Just move on. Yeah. Now I'm trying this out all over the place. Maybe I should have taken a different die cut. Maybe that's the issue. But this is what I chose. This is what I have. This is what I'm going to use either way. I just brought it back to the original place. I just am so indecisive. But here it is. So now I have to take off some of that glue that has been left behind. Here's my trusty glue remover, and working like a charm, at least that. And let's put that back to where it belongs. And I will let you have a little look at what I'm going with. Yes, I'm going to press it down and make a commitment. There it is. So now just to attach it to the card base, I like to use the ATG gun. And I usually put on some glue right on top so I can have some wiggle room, because as you can see, I can have difficulty with placement, with decision making, you name it. But at the end of the day, I will have a card, and it may not be perfect, but most of the time I am satisfied. So I'm just going to leave the smallest ridge around my card. Let's see. You see it on white, so I can tell. There's a hair of mine. Okay, I think that's going to be good. Let's make it happen. So that is my idea of a stash dive. And I know it's not perfect. I know it's not groundbreaking, but I do think it's a good idea, and I hope you do too. So if there's a day that you feel like you want to create something, you're not super duper feeling crafty on that particular day, dive through your stash. See what you can put together with the things that you already have, and see if you can make something cute and something that you feel that you would be proud to give to someone to help them celebrate their birthday, their graduation, whatever it may be. So there, I just added my signature. Here is the front of my card. Here is the original card that I made. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please leave a comment and give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for joining me. And until next time, bye-bye, YouTube.